Hey everybody, welcome back. Back on my Monday post. I told you I was getting back on my A game this week. So I knew from the beginning of wanting to talk about birds that I wanted to talk about hawks. I knew that was a thing that I wanted to do. I just didn't know when it would come to pass. I'd seen them when I first started thinking about, okay, birds as content. A couple flashed out at me right away. And I was just like, okay, what order is best for me to present these birds? And obviously it's unfolded in the way that it's unfolded. And I've really been getting these messages kind of literally out and about on my walks, on my runs. So yesterday I had just finished uploading everything on robins. And I was like thinking to myself, this has happened now 4 times. Thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, God, what's the next bird, right? Now, mind you, I haven't seen a hawk in 4 weeks. Since I got down here for like one day, I saw a hawk. And don't you know, I go for my run yesterday and I see these 2, I mean, God, they're so amazing, hawks circling, right? And I'm like, wow. And they're following me, kind of. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, oh no, like, am I the prey that they're looking for? But they're kind of like following me, but they just keep going higher and higher. And I'm running, but I'm like looking up at them like, wow, right? Like, this is amazing. So I'm like, okay, hawks are this week, no problem. So I, come back, I do my thing. I don't know what my eyebrows doing here, guys. I come back to my thing, whatever, go for my run this morning. And again, don't you know, this time I only saw one hawk. And I was like, are you the hawk? And again, it was like flying high up. And I was like, are you the hawk from yesterday, And all of a sudden, I literally said that in my mind. I didn't even say it out loud. And all of a sudden, 2 more hawks come up, which I think are probably the hawks from yesterday. And I was like, wow, like, that is crazy. So 2 hawks yesterday, 3 hawks today. Anybody who knows anything about hawks are going to tell you they're always going to be a good sign. You want a hawk to cross your path. Spiritually, biblically, like, you want a hawk to cross your path. Are they predators? Yes, they are. So are owls, so are eagles, so are robins to the worm. You know what I mean? So no matter what, there's a chain of command, there's a life cycle, there's a life chain. So a lot of the good fortune that comes from hawks are, though, their style and method of, I don't want to say hunting, but like, just they are predators, they are hunting birds, right? Hawks, falcons, they're all hunting birds. So the thing that is nice about hawks, a lot of things, honestly, but what is nice about hawks is their like laser vision focus, right? Hawks are going to be extraordinarily focused and determined. They are just, they are high up in the sky a lot of times, and they can see something that moves on the ground from thousands of feet up, right? Thousands of feet up. So this level of focus and determination that comes along with the hawk is something that, I know I want in my life. I think it's also very interesting for me personally. Like I said, my content tends to just line up with my life, I have found. Sometimes it lines up with my clients' lives in a big way as well. But this content I've been bringing to you with this bird series, this has really been lining up. And the hawk is no different in this idea of focus and determination and, being courageous. The hawk is going to be symbolic of courage, being confident, because again, they are confident. If you see them soaring up there, I saw them soaring, like, just confident and at their ease and at their leisure and just so strong and so, like, sure, so impressive to watch. Really, really, really cool. So hawks have a lot to do with like determination of purpose, clarity, insight, that kind of an overview, right? So it has a lot, they have a lot to do with courage, determination, focus, clarity, perspective, insight. Like that's all going to be hawk energy, right? So they are, just had something on me, I don't know what that was. The sign of the hawk is going to be sort of indicated by their ability and their prowess, right? So hawks have the ability and the prowess to see something from hundreds of thousands of feet up and dive in a determined way, right? That is hawk energy. So if you see a hawk, or if I'm seeing a hawk, it's good for business endeavor. It's good for new purpose, new I don't want to say new insight, but clarity or purpose or insight on a new thing, right? So if you have the robin, right, from last week, the robin with new beginnings, well, the hawk is telling you to go into that with clarity and confidence and keen insight and keen perspective, right? So that's super helpful for me, because this is the week that I'm opening up my coaching program to a select few people, right? So that's really exciting for me. I've already actually been running my program with people, but this is the first time I'm opening it to people who are not friends or family. And so I just find it really appropriate that is something I'm seeing, is that idea of the hawk and being determined and focused and having that courage and having that confidence and, the insight and the perspective, all those things that the hawk brings. Because they're all things that I can definitely use this week, because I want to make sure I'm bringing the right people into my program, the people that I can help. I want to make sure I'm attracting the right potential clients. I want to make sure I'm attracting the right potential viewers, right? I always want to make sure that I'm speaking to an audience that can benefit from what I'm saying. Because otherwise, what are we doing here? Why are we wasting our time and energy, right? So hawk energy, again, I'm going to go through it again. Focus, determination, clarity, courage, strength, insight, perspective. Those are all going to be hawk energy type of things. Super exciting. So what does that mean for you? Where are you lacking confidence, friends? Where are you lacking clarity? Where are you lacking insight? Now, my assumption for a lot of you, not all, for a lot of you, it's probably lacking insight into yourself, right? You're not clear about your purpose. You're not clear about who you are. You're not confident in who you are to show up authentically as yourself. You're not focused on yourself. You're focused on everybody else. Your focus is external, not internal. You're not determined to get to know yourself, probably, right? These are all things that currently, thankfully, I no longer struggle with. That was me, catch me 2 years ago, not knowing myself hardly at all and expecting other people to know me, right? That's the unfair thing we do. We don't know ourselves, but we expect everybody else to know us. And then we get upset when, I guess I should just say I guess I should call myself out here, right? I got upset when people didn't know me or I felt misunderstood. And it was like, well, girl, how are you supposed to be understood when you don't understand yourself? And I didn't, how can you understand yourself when you don't allow yourself to feel certain things, or you don't allow yourself to step out in ways that are authentic to you, which I wasn't doing. I thought I was, but turns out I really wasn't. So, yeah, those are hawk energy questions, right? So where is your focus? If your focus is on anything external, you want to be very careful. You want to be very careful, because when we focus on external things, what happens is that we're very quick to be living for the external. But anything external is going to leave us. Children included in that, guys. Pets included in that. The only person you have for life is you. So you have to do some internal focus work. You have to. For your own sake. right? That's the only real, I'm not saying you don't want to focus on other people too. Of course you do. We're here to help. That's what we're here for. However, you cannot help anybody before you help yourself. You cannot know anybody before you know yourself, right? So that depth and that clarity and that understanding, and that focus has to be directed inwards first. And I would say continually, honestly, but for a lot of us, there's a big push that has to happen first. So where's your focus? What do you need clarity on, right? Are you unclear about your purpose in life? Like, what am I doing here, right? Or what you want out of life. Like, this is cool, I guess, but I don't really want it. Well, what do you want? Get clear on it, Because we sort of drift through life, doing things others expect of us, doing things that don't quite make us satisfied or happy, just kind of going through the motions a lot of times. And it's not helpful. And so what ends up happening is we're not determined to get the things that are in alignment with ourselves. We're not focused. We're not looking at things from a higher perspective at the end of the day, right? We get very caught up in the here and now. And Hawk Energy is telling us, yo, back up. I mean, as I was watching those hawks yesterday, I was shocked. They were like on level with a plane. I'm not even kidding. Like, they were so high. They were like specks. If I hadn't watched them really close, circling, and like kind of watched them go up and up and up and up and up, I wouldn't have even known they were birds. Like, they were just so high up, right? And that perspective, that 30,000 or 50,000 viewpoint, 30,000 foot view, gives us clarity because it brings us outward. So we aren't caught up in the here and the now. We're caught up in, okay, here's the bigger picture. This is happening today, but what's happening 5 and 10 years down the line? People who lack clarity, people who lack focus, people who lack determination, usually lack perspective. You're going to find that the people who are the most lost are the ones that are in the here and the now with no tether to the future or the past. Now, again, I'm not saying there isn't something really good about being in the present. There's a lot of good things about being in the present. However, the present for like hedonistic pleasure's sake and not goals that you've set and you're working towards sake is going to be kind of ineffective to any kind of growth. And like I said, I'm here to help people grow. Now, I don't mind, people want to stay sort of stagnant, like that's cool. I don't mind. You do whatever you want. It's your life to live however you want to live it. But if you're here to grow, if you're here to prosper, if you're here to be your best self, then you have to step back and really think about what it is that you want out of life, what it is that you want out of yourself, how you want to show up. And to do that, you really have to peel off layers of what people said you can and can't do, or who you were and who you weren't, right? And I'll give you an example of that. For the longest time, I was like, I'm so bad at math, or I'm so bad at math, because my dad was really good at math, and he kept trying to get me to understand these concepts when I was a kid. And I couldn't get them in the way that he was teaching them. Could not understand them. Now, I thought I was bad at math. And he used to always say, like, it's not hard, why aren't you getting this, right? What I found out as I got older was it's not that I couldn't understand the concepts, it's that he couldn't teach them in a way I could understand them, and I wasn't able to do them to the quality and caliber that he expected. So I had no problem coming up with the answers to his questions, but I couldn't do it without a pen and paper, and I couldn't do it in like 3 seconds. But he could. And so he was trying to like get me to be like him. Well, our brains don't work the same. I'm not a math person. I can do math. That is the difference. Right now I know I can do math. I'm actually very good at math. Math isn't hard. But I am not great at like math in my head or quick math. Like, I need time. I need space. Like, I need to be able to like write it all out, show my work. So actually, like in school, I was good at math because I did what the teachers, I was a textbook student. Like I did what they wanted me to do. I showed my work. Even if the answer was wrong, I showed how I got it. You know, I showed my brain energy, I guess. So it's that whole thing of like, we internalize a lot of what other people expect of us, and we don't even realize it. And then we spit out the same old story of, oh, I'm not this, and I'm not that, and I'm not this, and I've never been that, and I don't do this, and I don't do that. I'm not a morning person, right? I can't work out. I don't eat healthy. Well, why not? Start today. You know what I mean? Like, okay, maybe you weren't in the past, but now that you're trying to be your best self, you know that in order to be your best physical self, you have to eat healthier, perhaps. That was true for me, right? I hated the kitchen. My mom never cooked. Nobody cooked in my family. And I just ate like crap all the time until I was like, I'm done eating like crap. I'm going to eat well. And I was like, it's not that hard to cut up some cauliflower and put it in the oven. It takes 2 minutes. Right? So we can start telling ourselves a new story, but we have to get clear on what we want. We have to get clear. We have to get focused. We have to get determined on, okay, I want to be this version of myself. How can I get there? This is what I want. This is where I'm at. Where do I need to start? Where do I need to go? What habits do I need to form? Hawk energy is telling us, focus in on that. Focus in on what you want. Get clear about what you want. Come up a little bit higher. Come up a little bit farther away from the issue, right? And so, very fortuitous when you see hawks in your path. If you do see a hawk, I hope that you'll think about this moment and think about what it is that they symbolize and the sign that you're getting from God, source, universe, what you're getting from looking up and seeing those hawks. It's probably an indicator of like, hey, you need to focus in. Hey, you need some clarity. Hey, like, where can you use some perspective, right? Where do we need a perspective shift here? For me, in this week, I know that it's very much business oriented. It's not personal, it's professional this week, right? I know that I need to crack down, get focus on my business, my dissertation, like all of these things that I've been like not quite as focused with because I was trying to focus on personal things. I was trying to focus on where I'm going to live, and I'm trying to focus on 75 hard and showing up for myself. And now that I'm settled, now that I'm in the space, for me, this energy is, okay, time to focus in on your work, time to focus in on your professional life, time to focus in on your academics, right? But that's not true for everybody. You have to take an inventory of what it is for you. And that takes self-awareness. That takes the work of being honest with ourselves, which can be hard. You know, it can be hard because it's like, we never want to ask ourselves like, well, what do I really want? Or why don't I have what I want? Do I even know what I want? It takes asking those hard questions, right? And that again is what part of my job is as an authenticity coach, is to ask you those hard questions, right? So I will bring you that here in this space, and you know, see how you answer it and see how you show up for yourself. But hawks, talking about hawks this week, back to posting on Monday. We're in season 2. This is episode 21. So we've got about 3 left after this, and then we'll just start switching some gears a little bit. But I hope that that's interesting to you. I appreciate, I mean, when I saw the hawk circling, I was like, wow, it's very cool. Very cool. So what are you focused on? How determined are you? How clear are you on purpose? What kind of perspective do you have? What kind of clarity do you need? Those are the questions I want you to really ask yourselves and think about when it comes to the hawk sort of energy. And I'll see you here next week because now again, we're back on Monday schedule. So look at us go. Bye, fam.